This is an examination of the hidden human condition.
This is the Hidden Killers Podcast.
The Hidden Killers Podcast.
With Tony Bruschi.
We've heard in the past from Xana Kernodle's mother, specifically on News Nation. She was talking with Banfield several weeks back about the pain that she was going through, having lost her daughter in that senseless attack. She also admittedly has been struggling with addiction for most of her life, and this certainly did not help in any way, shape, or form. Kara Northington, she's 43. She's been held on drug charges since February 24th. She relapsed after her daughter's killing. And then to kind of throw insult to injury on top of everything, it turned out that her attorney is now the attorney for Bryan Kohberger as the public defender. That's where a lot of the red flags are being raised about conflict of interest. And by the books, they say it's not. By the public, they say it is. All around, it's a very bizarre situation for someone to be in, especially as she continues to struggle with addiction. We have this story for you on her current state.
It's the stuff that nightmares are made of. A mother losing her child to a brutal murder. And for Kara Northington, that nightmare became a reality when her 20-year-old daughter, Xana Kernodle, was slaughtered in her off-campus rental home at the University of Idaho. But what followed was a downward spiral into drug addiction that has left Northington behind bars on drug charges. She's now struggling to stay sober, with no contact from her surviving children and no one to turn to for help. The pain of losing a child is unimaginable, but for Northington, it was a pain that she couldn't bear alone. She turned to drugs to ease the pain, to numb the hurt, but it only made things worse. Now, she's confined to a cell with 3 other inmates on bunk beds at the Kootenai County Jail in Kohberger, 66 miles away from where her daughter was murdered. She has only daytime access to a TV that often airs news about the savage killings, and she's forced to endure drug withdrawals without proper medical care. For Northington, the pain of losing her daughter is too much to bear. She replays the massacre in her mind, wrestling with personal demons that threaten to consume her. But she's determined to stay strong for Xana and her 2 surviving children. "They are my strength," she said. "It's one thing to lose a child, but when you still have 2 really great children, you have to put it together for them, you know?" But it's not just the pain of losing a child that Northington has to deal with. She's also struggling with drug addiction, something that has plagued her for most of her adult life. She's been arrested and jailed repeatedly, alienating her own family in the process. Before the attack, she was clean, working as a waitress and striving to make fresh inroads with her children. She was planning to meet Xana for lunch in late October, but had to postpone because of a court hearing that ran late. But then the attack happened, and Northington relapsed. She was picked up on drug charges just 4 days after her daughter's killing, and things spiraled out of control from there. She was released so she could attend her daughter's funeral, but didn't show up for her next court date because she was still getting high. A warrant was issued for her arrest, and she went off the grid, but couldn't escape the news. Northington has not only had to deal with the consequences of her drug addiction and the pain of losing a child, but also the media frenzy that has dragged her into the spotlight in recent weeks. She appeared on News Nation in January, blasting the fact that her daughter's accused killer was still allowed to attend college alongside her older daughter, Jasmine. But despite everything she's been through, Northington remains determined to get sober and turn her life around. She's seeking treatment and counselling, and she's hoping to secure a job once she's released. "I just want to get sober for Xana and my other 2 living kids," she said. "She has a little brother who needs me, and her older sister just lost her best friend in her sister, so she doesn't need to lose her mum too. And my son doesn't need to lose his mum either." For Northington, the struggle is far from over, but with the memory of her daughter to guide her, she's determined to make it through.
This is an examination of the hidden human condition.
This is the Hidden Killers Podcast.
The Hidden Killers Podcast.
With Tony Bruschi.
That's the latest there. Be sure to press subscribe wherever you download podcasts so you don't miss any breaking updates and discussions on the cases that we are following for you. The complete list in the episode description. You can follow me on Twitter at TonyBPod. My name is Tony Bruschi. Stay with us.